This is ESPN ESPORTS. I'm Arda Ocal. Very happy to be joined once again by Carlos, aka Ocelot, the founder of G2, who seems to not be in Shanghai. You are not in China right now, is that correct?
That is correct. I mean, holidays, as a matter of fact.
Yes, you took time out of your, I wasn't going to say that, but you took time out of your holiday schedule to come and talk with us, which I appreciate.
It's a pleasure. I don't typically take holidays. This is the first time in 5 years, I told you already. And, it feels good to just disconnect a little bit, although you don't truly fully disconnect. But yeah, it's been good.
Good to hear. So does this mean you're not, obviously Worlds is such a unique circumstance this year, but you won't be joining the team at any point for Worlds this year?
If there wouldn't be the challenges that are, I would definitely be there at some point. And typically I like to appear when it's like crunch time, right?
Yeah.
I don't like to be there when things are just good and easy, my appearance has to be at a moment that's important, and also I don't also when things go like really good, and imagine you're like 9-0 in the league or whatever, like I don't want to show up, like I don't, I just, I let them do their thing. I don't leech any energy, or I don't give them any words. When things are good, I just don't touch it. And it's my job to sort of help them when things are not good. And it's a shame that I cannot be there when hurdles are going to appear, because they're going to appear as Worlds, right? And scrims are going to at some point go bad, and you need to have enough maturity and people around you that understand how to turn this back on track. And but I'm glad this is, I think, the first year in our League of Legends history that I'm blindly confident on our support staff, actually, in full. Like our whole support staff, like we have a really good structure in place, and they do understand when we are starting to be worn out a little bit, when starting to be a little bit overwhelmed with things happening around us, or when we're starting to be a little more prone to tilted. So I think we have a good setup now. I don't need to be there. I feel like I don't need to.
What you're saying is you're so confident the team's going to win this year that you didn't have to go. Basically, is that what I'm hearing?
Listen, we are going to win Worlds, and it may as well be this year.
Have you given thought about how crazy it would be that this of all years could be the year that G2 wins Worlds, and like the circumstances of that?
I mean, right now it's like this year was very weird, right? And for us, it was specifically tough. I mean, for us, winning a split, the summer split, was already a huge accomplishment considering what's happened. I think that the mental fortitude of this team and the resilience and relentlessness, and honestly, I'm just very proud of the whole support staff, everybody, and the players in particular. Perks, as you know, has gone through incredible hurdle. On top of that, he has the rule swap stuff, which is very fun when things go well, but it's at the end of the day, I always say, as a competitor, you go to bed alone, and nobody understands your brain. And in those moments when things don't go well and life is not that fortunate for you either, on top of that, you have the fact that you have to perform, that you have to win, that you're against swimming against the current in a role that you're not fully confident in a role that you don't actually enjoy as much as mid lane. And that is public knowledge. So, and at some point, at that point on that Saturday night, after losing against some team that you should never lose to, then you're alone, right? And to go through a lot of those nights, a lot of those weeks, and to come back at the end of the split like this is just so insane. Like, we've won 8 times in the LEC. We're the most accomplished organization, at least regionally, in the world, in this game, League of Legends. And this one in particular has been the title that even though I couldn't touch the cup with my hands, even though I couldn't be physically in Rotterdam or wherever it would have been played, in whatever stadium. This one was the most important to me, because it showed a face that most teams and most successful teams just can't show, which is the face of after accomplishing amazing success, it's very easy for that success to go away the moment a couple of hard things happen. Those couple of hard things happened and the success didn't go away. We learned how to maneuver our way, into success again. So, bro, I don't know, it's hard to explain. But for me, this one was the most clutch, of all.
To transition, so just to catch everybody up, one of the reasons I wanted to speak with you today is because we're doing a whole lot of Worlds content, and I wanted to get your perspectives and your personal experiences from all of your previous Worlds, whether you were a player for one Worlds or as an owner. But to transition to that, how do you think being on the sidelines, not being there, you personally, not being able to join the team this year, how confident are you in your team this year going to Worlds versus any previous year?
Well, very confident for different reasons that I would have told you a different year. Let me explain. So I think the most confident I've been going to Worlds has been the one in 2017 with Mitty and Sven and Trick, and I think Expect, pretty sure, yeah. And of course Luca, because we were actually we were such a good team, but the team was much more about, it was a very try hard team, so to say, right? It was much more serious than the current one. It was to me that team should have actually, in my mind, how I remember those scrims against some of the best teams, that team was a grand finals team, no doubt in my mind. And as a matter of fact, we didn't pass the group stage just by one very small thing that I can barely remember, but it was very, very close. And if we would have gone to quarterfinals, I'm actually positive that in best of 5, we were one of the best teams in the world. I would say top 2. But then we didn't pass the group stage. So you can argue that the level of confidence is a bit irrelevant. It's what really matters is how fast can you adapt, and what type of mentality and culture the team works with. And that I have learned a lot throughout the last few years. And the current team actually has some of the best culture and mentality. And that culture and mentality that you need to have in Worlds is very different than the culture and mentality that is required to succeed in regular season, right? This one is, okay, it's crunch time, boys, There's that team playing that style. There's that team playing that style. Those other 2 teams are playing that style. Somehow it works for everyone. What is really the meta here? And then you just, a lot of trial and error. Okay, this doesn't work. There's a lot of thinking, a lot of trial and error, a lot of showers, thinking about picks and bans, thinking about what works against what. And all of a sudden, if you're lucky enough to pass the group stage, which is a bit of a coin flip always, even for last year's G2 was a bit of a coin flip. It could have gone either way. Then is when World starts, I feel like teams peak at quarterfinals, maybe semifinals, because their knowledge of the game gets so good so fast. They understand all of a sudden. It's always happened. Every single Worlds. At the very end of group phase, they're like, I got it. I understand the meta now. That's for the best teams. And then they show up in quarters and semis, and then the rest is history. So yeah, I am very confident that the team can do well. I think this can be the year where we win Worlds. I don't believe in cursing the team or anything like that, so I can say whatever I want. It won't have any impact. Dude, I always get told, you will curse the team. Bro, if cursing would be real, G2 wouldn't win a single title anywhere. Because we're just bantering and roasting everybody in social daily,
Every team that you own, Valorant, League, they would all be terrible if that were the case, right?
They would all be terrible. So yeah, I think we have a good chance, man. I think we have a good chance. Also, FPX not there, even though actually, I don't know if you saw my tweet, but we beat them in Valorant yesterday.
Yeah.
And the day before yesterday, we also beat them in Valorant. And I said, I respect how FPX just got a Valorant team just so that they can get destroyed by G2 or by G2 or something like that. I said, and then I said we would also like to get our revenge in Worlds, but they didn't qualify. So yeah,
I'm sure that
IG
felt
not
good,
there.
Carlos. I'm sure that
Ethic
felt
not
good.
there, IG not there, SKT not there. You can make a case that if those teams are not there, who the hell did these regions send, right? Like, how good are these teams that they sent? But I can also make the case of, again, regional success does not equate world success. Like the skill set, the mentality required to win a world championship is the one that Faker has. I mean, like it or not.